When it comes to XCN, will I still be holding? The answer is yes, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, but the price is going down, and look at a bunch of other altcoins, they're not doing the best. Totally aware of that, but my point of view is this. When it comes to, let's say, this space as of right now going down, sure, maybe things could go lower. I mean, I have no way to know the exact bottom, but at the same time, there is going to be a moment where sometimes people just don't really want to sell anymore. And also on top of that, when I first acquired XCN, the market cap was around that $40 to $50 million range, give or take. And as of right now, the market cap at the time of this recording is around 250 million. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, who cares about that? Well, again, so the market cap right now, when compared to when I first started acquiring it, is around a 5x. Now, granted, it's had a pretty big pullback, but still, it kind of showcases how XCN has actually come a pretty long way. Because had it not had, let's say, that kind of rally that we saw not too long ago, it would be even more difficult for me to kind of think about the idea of 25 cents maybe. Because the way to take a look at it was that XCN showed a moment of brilliance. And sure, it's had a pullback, but what I find very impressive was that it did that without an altcoin season, which is why I'm still holding. I just haven't given up because that small glimpse right there, I think kind of showcased to me maybe what attention XCN could maybe hypothetically have during an altcoin season. However, if it did that without an altcoin season, I could only just imagine what it could do if, let's say, there was even an altcoin season during this cycle. So yeah, I just haven't given up. And again, sure, XCN could maybe go lower than right now. I have no way to control that, but at the same time, do I ever see it going to like a $40 or $50 million market cap? I just have a hard time believing that. Now, who knows, right? I mean, again, I can't control anything, but it would just surprise me a lot actually if it did that. This is the way I take a look at it. I mean, again, when it comes to XCN, a lot of people thought that that would never happen, right? When it comes to that rally, and I thought actually it would happen maybe a little bit later, but then it kind of did that. So I think that kind of at least gave me something to latch on to a little bit in terms of seeing like, okay, the project did that. It kind of impressed me and I just don't want to give up. That's kind of like the way to take a look at it. It's like, for instance, when I take a look at the movie Castaway, when Tom Hanks, he was stuck on an island, right? My point of view is that he's a smart individual because in that movie, he was able to survive. But then at the same time, it kind of showcases that, yeah, when it comes to in the movie setting, right, he was working at FedEx and then that happened. But then I'm saying it kind of showcases the mentality and I think kind of the smarts that he possesses because when it comes to even in that island, he was able to survive. So what happens when he goes out later, right? Which in the movie, it doesn't really tell too much about what happened later, but I'm saying the way to take a look at it was that right now, XCN is kind of like, stuck a little bit, along with a bunch of other altcoins. It has to maybe go out of there, and let's say there needs to be an altcoin season to kind of showcase what it could really do. I haven't seen that yet, though, during this cycle. However, it's kind of like the analogy right there. If someone is able to kind of do things without really being given too much, like for instance in the case of XCN without an altcoin season, it kind of did that. I could only imagine what happens when there is one. So yeah, that's kind of the analogy, the way you take a look at it, which again, I haven't forgotten about the idea of 25 cents, which, as of right now is around a 35x from here, so it's actually quite a ways away at this point, but still the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around 9 billion, which still wouldn't really surprise me. I mean, even if, let's say, XCN just went to 12.5 cents, so around a 17x from here, like even at that point, I don't know why I would rather say, oh, I want to choose Ethereum over this. I don't know if Ethereum could do a 17x, let's say if there is even an altcoin season from where it is as of right now. I just don't know if it could do that, let alone maybe around a 35x, which, yeah, again, I just have a hard time believing that during an altcoin season. And I think it's actually not even enough time for me to know if there is even going to be an altcoin season or not, because if, let's say, this is like in June of 2026, then okay, that's a different case, but it still hasn't even been 2026 yet. I'm still looking forward to maybe what it could do near the end of this year or maybe in Q1 of 2026, which I get it is kind of not such a long time frame, right? But then within this space, things can kind of move like pretty drastically at times, and it doesn't even take that long. Like for instance, take a look at XCN just kind of basically flatlining at around that $40 to $50 million market cap. Then suddenly, nearly $1 billion around that range in terms of market cap. Now, granted, there's a pullback, but it kind of showcases that things could kind of move pretty quickly at times. Now, equally, it could also move in a negative direction as well, like what we're seeing as of right now. But as fast as it went down, maybe hypothetically, the speed to go up, who knows if it will be the same, but it wouldn't necessarily surprise me within this space. So I just haven't given up really. This is the way to take a look at it. And ultimately, if let's say XCN ever even does go to 25 cents, I'm not saying it will, but maybe if it ever even does in a hypothetical scenario, would it really matter if I acquired XCN at 1 cent, at 2 cents, at 5 cents? Because let's say just in a scenario, I acquired XCN at 5 cents. Even if that went to 25 cents, that's still 5x. Even if, let's say, I acquired XCN at 1 cent, 25 cents would be 25x from that. So really, if it's like 1 cent, if it's half a cent, if it's a quarter of a cent, or should I say, if it's like 3/4 of a penny, right? Whatever the case may be. At 25 cents, it wouldn't really matter to me at that point, when exactly I did that. Now, I'm not telling you to do anything, but if let's say I got into Bitcoin when it was at $1,000, which I clearly didn't, right? But I'm saying, if let's say that was in a make-believe scenario, would it really matter if I acquired Bitcoin at $1,000, at 300, at 700, at 100? Now, there's a big difference between 100 and $1,000. I'm totally aware of that. But with Bitcoin, even as of right now being over 100 grand, like that in the grand scheme of things won't really matter to me too much. Like I'm not going to be taking a look back in time and saying, oh wow, I can't believe I got it when it was at 300 and not 200. It's like, it wouldn't really matter actually in the grand scheme of things. But this is just my point of view. I'm not saying that that will be the case here. However, that's just kind of the mentality that I'm having. It's kind of like the vibe that I'm just thinking about as of right now when it comes to Onyx. And I just kind of feel like when it comes to that narrative of payments, global trade and finance, I still like it overall. So when it comes to Onyx, I just don't see it as such a bad project to me. I still am looking forward to maybe what Goliath could be. Now, how well would that do moving forward? Who knows? Because a layer 1 blockchain for the world of finance, it's not really reinventing the wheel by any means. But when it comes to the testnet, so far, it's been a pretty okay narrative. It just hasn't been the best because the price hasn't been the best either. But when it comes to the mainnet launch of, let's say, they do launch it actually in Q1 of 2026, which they are actually allegedly planning to launch it at that time. If that is the case, and let's say altcoins did a lot better at that time, it could be a totally different narrative. I get it. It's different right now. But over a year ago, the narrative of XCN is completely different than not too long ago, which we saw XCN actually have a pretty good rally. So again, at the end of the day, things can be very kind of up and down like that. It's a roller coaster, but I knew that getting into it. So I know that, again, things can be different right now, but who knows, they could be different again later on in the future. And I'm still staying patient. I haven't forgotten about it. And again, this is all I can do really. I can't control the markets, but I just wanted to give a quick update and just talk about the price real quick when it comes to XCN and just talk about why I'm still holding and why I haven't given up. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. I hope you'll have a nice day. I want to say thank you for watching. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.